Right. Anyway, okay, let's begin. Like I say, even at this point, I'm curious about what you're going to say. I feel like it's going to be extremely one or extremely other, but I don't know which one. But I'm excited. Anyway, okay. So here I'm speaking with Joao Meirinhos. Sorry for the pronunciation, I should say. And I just want to ask where you stand on this whole COVID situation, this vaccine situation, and please just let us know. No judgment. And like I say, I'm not going to ask any leading questions or anything. I'm just going to ask where, when, why, and what have you. So take it away, please.
I will try to surprise you, and I think I already will because I think I'm exactly in the middle.
Okay. Excellent.
I'm not there or there. I'm exactly in the middle. I have friends from both barricades. I agree with some on some points, and I agree with others in other points. So I'm probably I'm a wolf dressed as a sheep, or a sheep acting like a wolf. I'm not sure.
Sure.
For example, a good example, it's going to be New Year's Eve. I'm trying to organize a small party. Half of my friends are vaccinated. Half of them think the vaccine includes death or basically government appointed nano drones and things like this. I'm exaggerating, but they they don't want to put anything in their bodies that comes from a lab, although they have in the past, but they don't want this vaccine.
Mhm.
And the others were in line to be the first getting shot, so to get the shot. So and funnily enough, one of the barricades gave up on the party and doesn't want to hang out with the other one. So again, I'm the middle guy that think vaccinated people and unvaccinated people could be able to spend 5 days having fun, but it's not the case. Yeah, in small group of friends, it proved that it was not the case. Um, and yeah, it's tough. It's weird. It's tough.
Yeah. So where do you personally stand? As in, are you vaccinated in this, or do you think it shouldn't be done? Or,
I caught COVID around a year ago.
yeah.
I've always had flus. I always get a flu every year. Okay, when it starts getting the weather goes to shit, and I go get beers, acting like it's summer. And since I have a lot of allergic background, asthma and stuff like that, I always get a flu. And exactly at that day that I went out to get hammered, I got sick, and then surprisingly enough, that sick was COVID. So I only and yeah, so for a long while when people asked me if I had the vaccine, I always said I already had COVID. I was trying to avoid it as much as I can, not because I'm afraid of it. I am not afraid of the vaccine. I don't think there's anything dangerous about it, but I think was a bit precocious for me, especially since I'm not a risk group.
Mhm.
I never thought that I had to have it, since um, it's a mutating disease. So it's like buying a new Macintosh, you know? Like, why am I gonna hurry up in buying it since the technology is developing all the time? If I delay it, I will get a better computer later on. So I didn't want to, although the social work pressure was quite intense. And then I gotta just fuck this shit. I don't want to hear more about this. I'm just I found the place. It was a 15 minutes walk. I had free time. I just got the shot. So I got one shot, Janssen shot. I felt worse with the shot than with COVID. Can guarantee you that. Well, I also wasn't very logical about it. Like, I felt ill, like in 30 minutes, I was feeling bad, like a headache and stuff. And instead of like laying down and waiting it off, I just went out drinking beer, smoking cigarettes
Awesome.
instead.
Okay. Okay.
So the vaccine plus
Yep.
the hangover was just like demonic.
Right.
But again, like, I don't think there's much danger in it. Uh, I
Yeah.
think I think it's crazy that we are beginning to vaccinate children for a disease that they might not even suffer the consequences of, just to protect the elderly population. This is almost counterintuitive. Although if you follow the immunology books and epidemiology and all that stuff, this is how you beat diseases. This is how we've always done it as humankind, is to vaccinate the whole lot. And then so yeah, that's why I'm in the middle, because
Yeah, no, no, you make some interesting points, like very logical. Yeah, I suppose my next question would be the fact you say you don't think there's any danger behind it. You don't potentially think there's a conspiracy behind it. Don't want to use the word conspiracy, but I just have. Yet there is so much fear behind this vaccine that there is something untoward happening. And what do you think about that thing? What do you think about that?
It's great that you asked that, because I got into conspiracy theories in the beginning of the internet, like in the year 1999, 2000. Yeah. I was all about Bilderberg and Illuminatis and things like that, and ancient aliens, and basically Hitler may be living under in Agartha, which is like a city living inside the planet Earth, and or in the other side of the moon. I loved it because conspiracy theories, especially Robert Anton Wilson, which is one of my favorite writers, they opened up the possibility of what if. And this is amazing. And then when you find like synchronicity in movies or like secret symbols, Lady Gaga and things like this, it's exciting. It's very exciting to feel that, damn, I'm onto something. I'm like Sherlock Holmes of the internet. I am actually onto something big, and it's hidden in plain sight, and nobody knows except me. So I love conspiracy theories. Well, I loved them because now they haven't evolved from 20 years ago. They haven't evolved, being like QAnon and things like this, the complete bastard child of conspiracy theories, like 4chan just made a huge prank on everybody, like let's make like rednecks in America and everywhere believe that Donald Trump is not an asshole but a messiah. And it worked. Okay, so people are dying to believe in something, and in a world of post-truth, when we have deep fakes, we are basically cradling artificial intelligence to God knows where. People are craving for something bigger than them, and then the governments are, as they've always been, like less reliable every step of the way, because we literally know there are things that politicians and people in power do not tell us, because they obviously they have different agendas that we are not in touch with. And this frustration, this incredible frustration of knowing that these guys have plans and they have the power to trick us off, opens a huge leadway to all sorts of fantasies. And those fantasies were interesting when they were based in suggestion or actual investigation, but now most of them are politically oriented as well. So when you listen to 5G stuff and things like that, like most of those websites and those people are money orientated or politically orientated. They want views, they want to sell vitamins, they want to sell a lifestyle, or they actually are from extreme right movements. For example, we have this newspaper that is basically an extreme right movement since the beginning. It's a nationalist Portuguese movement, and they're creeps. They're crazy racist creeps. If you go to their website now, it's not about nationalism anymore. It's all about anti-vax, because they know this is a discourse that people are into, and it's an anti-establishment discourse. So, and I've been receiving forward messages on Telegram from friends like mine that are left-wing. Fucking left-wing is the best way I can describe them. They're hippies. They're free people, and now they fall victims and hostage of right-wing propaganda through the anti-vax movement. So the whole thing is way more complex, and the truth is like a bastard child somewhere. The truth is completely far gone, and it hurts me from a person that loves conspiracy theories and wondering what are these super rich fucking bastards doing on our backs, and ending up suggesting people that you should watch a little bit of TV. And I hate TV, but like the most important thing nowadays is that if you think you are a professional in your area, it is naive or even childish to believe that all the professionals in other areas, such as medicine, are wrong and have been tricked by this global Kabbalah. Because, man, it's hard enough to get 20 people to organize to go to a barbecue. You really think that the richest and most powerful people in the world are friends with each other and then they get along? It's it's this Kabbalah. It has too many, things that could go wrong also for the people that will be organizing them. Of course, if our nemesis is like the Joker that just wants to create havoc for the sake of fucking chaos, yeah, then in that case it's great. uh, the only conspiracy theory that I can kind of indulge in is that this was a laboratorial leak from the Wuhan lab, for sure, by accident or on purpose, by the Chinese to create chaos, or by some madman just to profit on chaos, because there's a lot of things to profit on chaos, because global markets go berserk. To believe that the establishment itself did it, I have a problem with that, because they are just getting more headaches and more headaches. And then these light conspiracy theories, they are just bogus, most of them, in my opinion.
Very good points, like loads of good points there. Yeah, I was very much into my conspiracy theories too. Like you say, I loved them, enjoyed them. Like they say, watching, say, Madonna walk down 13 steps at an award ceremony. Brilliant. I love that stuff. I love it. But you know what ended conspiracy for me? In fact, I should be open, maybe a little bit more open than I should, but it was the flat earth thing. So let's put it like this. When I first saw, when flat earth first popped up years ago, I remember when I was, a nice conspiracy guy, I looked at that, I looked out my window and I'm like, oh, maybe, who knows? Anyway, years later, flat earth popped up again. I'm like, all right, let's see what this is all about, just out of interest to see what these guys are talking about. Not saying I believed it, just wanted to have a look. And I watched a few talks and went down a bit of a rabbit hole, and they were saying, and it's the line that I hear from a lot of people, just do your research. So I was like, all right, I will indulge this. I will do my research and find out whether the earth is round or flat. Within the space of 5 minutes, I had realized that the earth is definitely round. And that killed it for me, because I was like, what research are these people doing? What are they looking into? How is it not obvious that it is round? With so many layers, so many levels, it's like you could go back thousands of years to the point when humans knew that the earth was round. And it kind of killed it for me. It killed the whole conspiracy angles, because I was like, if people can be so quick to believe something that's so obviously not true, even after doing research, then what else will they believe? And this was obviously before COVID had sparked up. And now we seem to be in a level where conspiracies have gone beyond sitting at home in your bedroom on the internet to into the real world, where it's like, this is why this COVID situation is quite serious, because if the vaccine is helping people and saving lives, people who aren't taking it are potentially endangering people. Alternatively, if the vaccine is some microchip and it's going to track you, make you infertile, and potentially kill you at some point, that's also another serious issue. So both sides are very serious right now, if you see where I'm coming from.
Sure, definitely they are. One little, can I say one thing?
Of course, no, it's all you.
The flat earthers. So the documentary they have on Netflix, it's called Behind the Curve.
I've seen that. Love it.
And I love that documentary, because I think that the guy that directed it, or girl, or whoever, basically, I think flat earthers can watch it and like it. And this is
Sure.
an incredible way to make a documentary. I think they would be proud to see themselves because he doesn't judge. He just puts other people with different opinions saying things. And then you remember when they go by the oximeter or something?
Yes.
This big, that's beautiful because basically if the world is round, if you basically point this laser, or I don't remember if it
Yeah.
was the laser part, but basically there's a dent of degrees. I'm terrible at math, but if it goes 360 per hour, it should go like 10 degrees or 20 degrees
Yeah, I remember
down
seeing it, yeah.
in some direction. And so they were all happy. They just bought this thing for $18,000 and they were all happy. Let's turn it because it's going to be zero all the time because it's flat. And then 1 hour later, poof, the machine tells you that the 20 degrees or something have passed. And then they create a new structure of thought to explain why the machine worked like that. So they started to say that the sky was fake, and that there was some sort of like an even bigger super machine blocking this one,
Sure.
etc.
Because they
And
did.
that's just heartwarming. It's heartwarming actually how belief, like the systems of belief that we have, basically it's impossible to change anybody's mind
Yeah,
if
'cause
they have a fixed mind. And most people, for good or bad, have a completely fixed mind.
Yeah, because they did their experiment, and their experiment proved right there that the Earth was round, and
Yeah.
they still went on with the same belief system. Yet their own scientific experiment told them that the Earth was
Yeah.
round, and they still continue.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
great. It's
And
great. It's interesting how the human mind works like that. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
super important moment as well. Like the main guy, this really cute guy, and you start loving them because the documentarists did a really good job. You like them as individuals because they mean no harm at all. And at one point, the guy asks him, "What if, like, one day somebody would tell you that would prove you that the Earth was round? Would you change your mind and tell all your fans?" Because he's pretty famous in this flat Earth society, and he's like, "Oh, I don't think they would let me." They would let me. It's like his own fans. So he's like, he lives in his grandmother's basement or something, for real. And he's big. He's a big shot. This is part of his personality. And now let's flip the switch a little bit. Like, I am completely against many things that the establishment has been doing with this disease. And one of them is that anybody that speaks anything different from the mainstream media is called a negationist and is blocked. His opinion is literally blocked from YouTube, from everywhere, because of the excuse of this is a sanitary pandemic and we cannot have the crazy people saying crazy things.
Well,
this is plain full-on wrong.
Just jump in
and
before
it
you carry
actually
on.
backfires.
Yeah,
This is what fuels conspiracy theories.
Yeah, I want to jump in before you carry on with that, because this is part of the reason I want to interview people, because I do want to know both sides. I really do want to know both sides, and it's impossible pretty much to find any information on the anti-vax movement or anything against COVID, which I suppose in a world, in a country, with freedom of speech, we should be able to see both. And people believe what people believe, but you have to see both sides. And by taking that stuff down, you're only reinforcing the fact that, oh, well, there's the reason it's taken down, because they don't want you to know the truth or whatever. Yeah. So carry on.
Yeah, you immediately assume that, and that's not the reason why. But and many theoretical people of the 60s and stuff like that, even before, like Jean Baudrillard and things like that, they already understood that if you hide something, it will become a different kind of virus, because people will start getting, yeah, okay, they're trying to hide us the truth, and it will just basically detonate inside in different remember 9/11, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody started, it's an inside job. Then Michael Moore did Fahrenheit 9/11, which is quite an intense film, since the guy basically plainly says, like, America nuked their own biggest building. And then basically what did the establishment did to that movie? They gave him a fucking Oscar. this is well played, because then the mind of the populace and the people will think the opposite, like, okay, it can't be true, because if it would be true, they wouldn't give him an Oscar. Well, giving him an Oscar is like actually a pretty good hint that it was bullseye true, and to do inverse psychology on everybody was the option.
Mm.
Here they haven't taken the option. They were also scared as fuck that they wanted it to stop, and this blocking everything has been the technique, and I think it's really plain wrong. We should hear people that have different kinds of opinions on the screen saying whatever they want, for sure. And because then you let other players take the stage, like, and the other players already exist, like when Joe Rogan got COVID and decided to basically inject himself with that experimental horse drug, the stocks of that drug went sky high, and everybody was buying it as well.
Mm.
So, and it could have been way more interesting to have other people already exposing and saying, I don't think this is good, and somebody saying, I think this is good, but on TV, on everywhere. Because COVID just shows me that governments treat people like cattle. They treat people like moronic cattle that has to be, and that has to be basically herded one side or the other. And your freedom of speech is just like some sort of epiphenomena to make you feel nicer. But like that's when it's in a state of war or in a state of fucking chaos, they don't give that much of a rat's ass about that. Although in comparisons with China and any other country, we are way better, because these discussions actually happen, even if some YouTube videos get scrambled, because China just locked down all their population and said, you won't move until we fix this shit up, and if you move, we shoot you or something. And we don't know exactly what happened in Wuhan. They still have arrested this journalist, a Chinese journalist that went there on the first days. They locked her up. There's petitions to try to like get her footage out. We will never see her. Like, so again, like, I think that censorship at the personal level is super wrong, and I think it backfires on society. But when then you have negationists saying that that kind of behavior is fascism, I don't like that comparisons, because fascism doesn't give you vaccines, it gives you gas chambers, and the difference is pretty big. So be aware of some terminology. Oh, totalitarian state. We've always been in a semi-totalitarian state. You have a number at birth. Like you have you can speak your mind, sure, but you have a lot of duties all the time, and if you don't comply with them, you have reprehensions. It's a reward punishment system. It's no news. So stop like going all fucking nuts. Now it's just way more intense and way more visible how how people that you elect or not are in deep control of many aspects in your life. You donated that control to them through a democratic election, whether you like it or not. Like, that was donated, that's in the law. So if they apply these techniques, it's legal for them to do so.
Very, very well said. Right, I think we've got quite a lot there, so potentially wrap up. How would you feel if I just put this video out to start with, the whole thing we've spoke, or do you think we've said anything that you don't want people to hear or anything? Or are you happy with that?
Not really. It's just, yeah, you can publish it. Feel free. It's just troublesome. It's a hard issue, especially the friends that I lost, and and it's well, what I want to say is that it's really tough I try to position myself in the middle as much as I can. I try to I agree with some things, and as you said in your piano video, the first video, my opinion actually doesn't fucking matter, and it's true. It matters to just the tiniest extent, and I think it would be helpful if people would be less fanatic about their goddamn opinions, because we are not talk, and it's and like both sides, because I have family members and friends that are complete psychos about COVID, and they protect themselves like this is like Ebola is in the air, and we're all and like, whoa, calm your horses, man. And the other ones are a bit too permissive, and there's so many political agendas working at the same time that we have to be aware that yeah, like I give the example of Brazil. Like Bolsonaro is a complete negationist, as everybody knows, and he's a psycho. He has a killer mind. He's destroying the Amazon. He wants to make yeah, he wants to fix the problem with the illegal logging of Amazonia, right? Of illegal cutting down trees. You know how he's planning to do it? To make it legal.
Well, well, that's how you do it, isn't it? That's how you do it.
The problem. So in Brazil, my point being that in Brazil, wearing a mask is being anti-Bolsonaro immediately. If you wear a mask, you are against Bolsonaro. You are left wing, and so, and it has nothing to do with COVID at that point. Of course, they want to stop COVID, but it's a symbol, and there's a lot of these things. It even reminds me of Cuba. Did you know that like punk rockers in Cuba used to be really hardcore and they wanted out, but they couldn't get out of the Fidel Castro regime, so they would inject AIDS on them as a protest, because AIDS actually represented freedom in the 80s for Cuba.
Right.
So there's so many layers that we have to be aware of, and the truth is some like shy little victim looking. She's probably terrified in some little building, just staring at everybody like, oh my God, everybody's gone mad.
Right, brilliant. Thanks very much for that, Joao. So if anyone's actually, so I was gonna like cut these videos together. So far I have one, and I think I hope. Well, what I'm saying is, if anyone's watching this video right now and has made it all the way to the end, please, if you'd like to do the same thing, say your opinion, whatever it is, no judgment, just get in touch and let's get some points of view out there. So thank you very much, Joao. It's been a pleasure chatting to you, and I'll catch you again. Nice one, man.
Cool. Nice seeing you again.
Yes, man.
Thank you.
Awesome. You're a legend. Bye, man. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.